Now, don't ask me again who I am or whatever. I don't know what to do.
Maybe you can introduce yourself. My name is Hans.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, my name is Hans Godo Frabel. I'm original from Germany, East Germany. Moved later on in 1949 to West Germany to Mainz. M-A-I-N-C, Mainz. I came to this country 1st of May 1965. I learned in Germany to make laboratory instruments in glass for research and scientific. And when I came over to the United States, I worked at Georgia Tech University at the chemistry department and made laboratory instruments for research. And also on the side, my boss and I, we worked for Coca-Cola and for Emory University to make the instruments. In the art side in glass, my father was working in a glass factory, and he was a little bit an accountant, upper position. And when I grew up, was no money for university. You couldn't go to college. And so what we had to do is learn a trade, and possible a trade a machine could not take over someday. So I'm pretty good with my hands, and so I got the apprenticeship for 3 years in Germany to learn to make laboratory instruments. The technique is known as torch worker. You have a torch, you have and you use as a material rods and tubings. Tubings you use if you have some hollow pieces like vases, you make glasses. The solid rods you make sculptures. Yeah, I call myself a glass sculptor, not really a glass blower. You don't do very little blowing, really. One of my favorite artists when I started out in 1968 was Littleton, and we were pretty close together, and we even swapped glass with each other. You know, you give me one of your sculptures, I give you one of my sculptures, and we did this. And then also Chihuly, who makes the bigger pieces and bigger chandeliers. And also he's a very nice person, yeah, to talk to. Yes, Absolute Vodka in the 80s, they made a lot of advertising, and what they did is got the most famous artists, international. If it's a painter, sculptor, whatever it might be, and they approached me to come up with the idea about Absolute Vodka and combine this in a sculpture. That's what I did. In 2005, I had a show at Pittsburgh, Botanical Garden. Later on, about 3 months later, the Botanical Garden approached me and they will have the G20 meeting in the Botanical Garden. And they had about 27 different presidents from the world and one of the highest bankers who came to that meeting. The Botanical Garden suggested, that we might give President Obama a present and have a chance to meet Mr. Obama and Michelle. When he came to the G20, he also ordered 34 glass sculptures for each president and banker sculptor. Then months later, he ordered some other pieces like orchids, some flowers when he has visited the East, like Japan, and I think it was even China. And we had to make those glass sculptures for him. The time when I started, you had glass blowers, let's call it this way, mostly in fairs or the amusing parks, who made a little tiny knickknacks. And how I really started out, I was working at Georgia Tech. With my training as an apprentice, after 3 years you have to be a total professional. not only good, you have to have speed also. So when I was working at Georgia Tech around 12 o'clock, I did all my work. But I had to stay there to 5 o'clock. So in the afternoon, just to kill some time, I made little glass flowers, animals and things. And the professors and the students saw it and they say, hey, make me a birthday present. There's a wedding coming up, make me a piece. And so I got really involved in art. I like art, I like to paint. And also in Atlanta, I visited a Georgia State art department, an Emory art department, and studied non-credit courses. A friend of mine said, why don't you try to make about 100 glass sculptors, and we open up a shop in Atlanta and see what happened. And we opened it up, and it was wonderful. It worked out, but after a half year later, a lightning hit the building. So the building burned down. And at that time, Lenox Square, what is one of America's biggest shopping malls, the owner drove by and said, are you interested to open up a gallery in Lenox Square? So I opened up a gallery in Lenox Square. Then in Atlanta, opened up underground Atlanta. That was where Atlanta was first. And then they built Atlanta above Atlanta, like a bridge. And they made a kind of restaurants, bars and things, and stores. And they asked me if I want to open up a gallery there, and I did. And then also Peachtree Center, who's the core of Atlanta business district, I opened up there a gallery. And so everything developed. Every time a president visited Atlanta, well, they came to me and say, can you make a glass sculpture? You can meet a president. And so I met about 4 presidents. It started from, let me see, even maybe more. Nixon, President Ford, President Johnson, President Carter, President Reagan, and President Obama. I had met also in Palm Beach, General Schwarzkopf got honored by Queen Elizabeth. And I got invited to make a sculpture and met Queen Elizabeth. Also in Atlanta, you have those black tie function fundraisers for heart disease, arthritis, or whatever it is. And to get people to the function, they invited movie stars. But they have to give movie stars somehow a reason to come to Atlanta. So I had to make every time a sculptor for movie stars. So in my lifetime in Atlanta, I met about maybe 60, 70 different movie stars. Pieces got around like the Pope, John Paul, got a piece. Fidel Castro got a piece. The Emperor of Japan got a piece. Czechoslovakia, I mean, Mrs. Thatcher. I met her, yeah, in England. She was the prime minister at that time. And so I got around. And we had a show in Botanical Garden in Atlanta, and it was a total success. And then from there, we got approached from Philadelphia, Richmond, McKee, and so we still have in mind to go to other botanical gardens. Yeah, we work now in Germany, Frankfurt Botanical Garden, but it takes time. Sometimes it takes years, you know, to get everything straightened out. The exhibit, well, everybody's very, very, very pleased because our second time. If they wouldn't like it, they would not invite us the second time. Yeah, that was 4 years ago. We had the first show here. Yeah. Oh yeah, and we also try to make special pieces for each garden. Like in Atlanta, the theme was orchids. Atlanta has an unusual big orchid collection, and the orchids are blooming all in the winter time. And so we made glass orchids. I don't know anymore how many, but it fit good. In McKee, we made the Longfellows.
And the lilies.
And the lilies, yeah. We come up every time with something, we're adding to it, more or less, yeah.
How do you like Vero Beach?
What a question. Wonderful.